ThaBoxingvoice.com live here with Joe Gallagher. Joe, how are you and how's New York treating you?
Very well. If you look out here, terrace, sun shining. 5 days away from fighting at the Garden. Life's very good.
So talk to us a little bit about Callum Smith. Obviously, he's going to be fighting Saturday night on the AJ Ruiz undercard. He has the most significant win in the division as well with that win over George Groves. What could you tell us about him that we Americans don't know?
Listen, I think with Callum Smith, he says what he does. If you look at his record, he's a fearsome puncher, head or body, left hand, right hand, huge for the weight. He's phenomenal. Every time he's been asked to step up, he's stepped up and won in style. He's won all the titles, he beat George Groves in 7 rounds to become the #1 super middleweight in the world. We were after the Gilberto Ramirez fight in September in a unification. Disappointed he gave the belt up there to move up. Really thought we had that done and dusted. The other fighters, Benavidez, Callum, they're all over on the other side with BBC, Fox, so they're hard to make. So win this Saturday night, and Canelo last time mentioned Callum Smith as an opponent, and we'd take that with both hands.
I spoke to Callum earlier today about that Canelo possibility. A bit of a long stretch because you got to wait on Canelo to choose you, him being the A side, but stylistically, how do you like that matchup? I mean, obviously Callum being the bigger man, but does that come into play?
Listen, it's all right about size, about skills, and Canelo, in my opinion, is #1 pound for pound fighter in the world at the moment. You've got to look who he's been in against. He's only lost to Mayweather. We know about Canelo up close. He beat Callum's brother Liam. But I just think Callum Smith, his height, his reach, his power with both hands, hits the body well for a tall fighter. That's it. I think you'd have to get Canelo out of the west coast of America to get any chance of winning that fight, if not to win by knockout on points. I think that'll play a key factor, although he has said he's willing to come to the UK, and if he does, we've got 60,000 Scousers in Liverpool Football Stadium that I'd love to see Canelo there, and we'd love to fight.
Do you think that that's a possibility, Canelo coming to the UK? I don't think he's done that yet, and Floyd never fought in the UK. Sometimes when you generate that much money, you don't have to go. Do you think he'll do it for the love of the fans and the sport?
Well, I think Canelo, if you look at Canelo as a person, he's a thrill seeker. He likes wild horses, fast cars, he likes the challenge. He likes being told you can't do it when he'll go and prove you that you can do it. I think that's why he took the Mayweather took him before he got too good. I think everyone's thinking to himself, okay, you won the WBA regular at 168, but it's not the world champion. I think that was just a test, dip his toes in, and it's most probably looking at Callum Smith and thinking, can I? And I think the thrill seeker, the drive, the adrenaline, and the challenge will be too much to resist for him to fight Callum Smith, and I'm sure he'd love to come to the UK, go into the champion's back garden, Callum Smith, and beat Callum Smith in his own right. He's got that, I won't say arrogance because he's a nice fella, but the old champions need that arrogance to go in and beat you in your own back garden. That suit Canelo. In the same way, we'd love to go to the Aztec Stadium in Mexico and beat Canelo in front of 100,000 Mexicans. It's just the mindset of great fighters.
There was rumor of a possibility that Dazn goes to Mexico with Canelo. Would you be willing to take that, being as though you just said you had to get him out of North America to get a fair decision?
We would, because what I'm saying is when we beat him in Anfield, we'll give him the rematch in Mexico.
Okay, so not Mexico first.
No.
Okay, so talk to us a little bit about Callum Johnson. What's going on with him? And when could we expect to see him back?
Well, Callum Johnson is due out August time, most probably against Joe Smith Jr. That's a good fight for him. He had a good win against Monaghan last time out, and I think that's a good test. I think Joe Smith Jr. acquitted himself well against Bivol last time out, had success late in the fight, troubled Bivol, and it's a good solid fight. I think Eddie's on about doing it on the undercard of Brown versus Bivol, I think. I'll have to speak to him in a bit, but that's when we're looking to do it anyway.
What month?
August, late August, early September, so that's what we're looking at.
You're saying Marcus Brown?
Marcus Brown is just to fight Bivol, I think, so we'll see what happens with that, but like I say, that's a good fight for Callum Johnson, and then after that then we'll be looking at a B2BF rematch. Callum Johnson's mad for the rematch. I think he went in there thinking he could, and then when he dropped him, he knew he could, but didn't have the belief to go and do it. I think now, after being in there with him, I know he got beat, but he knows he's got the beating of him. And if you look at the way that BTBF reacted when that fight was stopped, he fell to his knees. He knew he got out of jail that night, and we're adamant we want the rematch with that. And there's not many fighters willing to step in with BTBF, the monster puncher, but Callum Johnson is, and he wants to put things right this time.
Now, does Callum need a impressive highlight reel kind of win over Joe Smith in order to force that Bivol rematch, or excuse me, better be rematch, because, you know, networks, right? At the end of the day, the broadcasters have to be interested in the fight.
Yeah, exactly. I think the first fight, BTBF, I think it stole the show. I think Vargas was on it and Jarrell Miller, but because that was an up and down 3 fight and this monster punch had been dropped, then he's had a great knockout win over Monaghan. If we could stop Joe Smith Jr., that says everything when you've just looked at Bivol, who's just done 12 rounds with him. So yeah, it'd be great. But I think if Callum Johnson could beat him and beat him well, he's beat a solid fighter there in that what Bivol's just done, and BTBF hasn't got that many people queuing up to fight him, and if Callum Johnson wants to do it again, I'm sure he'd entertain us.
All right.
If you enjoyed the video, feel free to hit the like, subscribe, and share. As always, if you want to support us to the next level, head over to the patreon.com/ThaBoxingVoice. We have tons of exclusive from Border Wars, Entitled, betting shows, the list goes on and on and on. But in addition to that, if you guys have questions for fighters, trainers, and promoters, this is where you can submit them. We will run out, get these questions answered, and put it back on the show just for you guys. Appreciate it. Peace.